Hello and welcome to my book review of Bunker Hill by Nathaniel Philbrick. Um, Quick little update. I've been away for a while. School interfered, mental health interfered. I'll be honest with you there. Um, but I've been wanting to get back into the saddle for a few weeks now. I've just trying to been looking for that opening, so to speak. If you have any experience with mental health, you would understand about procrastinating. But yes. So today we are focusing on a book about the Revolutionary War, and it's going to talk about it. All right. So what is this book Bunker Hill about? Well, it is about the Battle of Bunker Hill, kind of like the first major show of force from Americans to the British. You could say the March on Lexington, excuse me, was really the first show of force, but this was really the example that Americans could win a battle, so to speak, or at least do a lot of damage. So this book does not just focus on the battle itself, however, it does focus on Boston and the lead up to the Revolution, um, lead up to the March to Lexington. It talks about when my brain shuts down. Uh, it talks about Samuel Adams and John Adams. Sorry, there we go. The Boston Massacre, the Boston Tea Party, and other events that happened before the Battle of Bunker Hill. It also talks about the siege of Boston after the battle, when George Washington enters the fray and tries to take over the city. Eventually, the British realize they're going to be in a losing battle, so they leave and go to Nova Scotia. Um, I would say this was definitely enlightening in some aspects, but we'll talk about that in a few. So, what would I give the rating for this book? So, I gave it 4 stars on Goodreads on Monday. This The goal is to upload this on Friday. Behind the scenes talk. Here we go. Anyways, uh, the goal was the goal. The review went out. Not review. The rating. I did a rating on it Monday because I finished it Monday. Gave it 4 stars, like I said. Now, why did I give it 4 stars? Let me just explain the positives, and then we'll go over the negatives. Alright, so what were the positives from this book? I think, for one, it does go into more detail. I did not say beforehand, but I did read a book a few weeks ago about the Revolutionary War called Washington's War by Robert Leckie. I'll put the cover here. But this was definitely a more in-depth look at the uprising and the start of the revolution, whereas that book was more of a broad telling of the war. I would recommend reading that too if you're new to the subject matter. For example, I'm new to the subject matter. I've had my history classes, but never really gone in depth about the war itself. What else did I like about this book? It definitely read like a story for the most part. Trying to block Johnny Cash from giving you guys a middle finger. Interesting little background I have there, but yeah, I would say for the most part it was a good book, good introduction to the war. Definitely skip. Whoops. gets the interest in reading more. But then there are the negatives, and let me talk about those. So, what did I think negatively of this book? I think the biggest issue with it was it had just too much detail. Too much. There's a line where you want to both keep your reader interested in learning, and then there's when you cross the line, and it's like, okay, this becomes a chore to read this book. And to be honest with you, at least after the battle itself, this book became a bit of a bore. The lead up to the battle also had some boring stages, but I don't know if I'd want to read this again if I were to reread it later on in life. But I would recommend it though. Not so much out of entertainment, but so much out of you will learn something if you read this book. But like I said, the negatives were, you just don't want to read it sometimes. And I did take some breaks. I did read some books in between. I read a few James Bond novels, and by the way, I'm going to probably have some reviews on those later on. Anyways, I digress. So, yes, I think I would recommend this book for those who want to read about the subject matter. I don't know if I'd recommend this as kind of like the starter book. It is like the start of the war, but I don't know if I would say this is a good introduction or good for someone that's just getting into it and doesn't know where to start. Like I said, I would recommend the Robert Leckie book. If the name sounds familiar to you, he wrote it's windy out. Storming out there. Anyways, it's same person who wrote My Helmet for My Pillow about his time in World War II. So as I said, I recommend this book. Now, goals for this channel, real quick. I just want to go over that. I am going to try to do a weekly review, naturally, and I'm going to pick up the Sundays week review, where I review what I've learned throughout the week that I thought was interesting, that might interest you. Also, if you're wanting to watch if you want to watch more laid back content of mine, I recommend following my gaming channel down in the description. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, that'd be very nice. Subscribe to both channels, and you'll be able to know when new content comes out. Also, I recommend following me on Twitter if you're wanting to keep up with information or wanting to know what's going on with me. And follow me on Goodreads if you're interested, if you want to follow my reading routine. If you want to see what I'm going to review next, that's a pretty good indicator. It's like a monsoon outside my window. Well, not middle of Ohio, it's northeast Ohio, but man, if I could take a camera and show you. Anyways, we're gonna watch the power go out or a tornado hit just as I finish this. But finally, if you actually want to support the channel and you get a return on this as well, I don't have a Patreon or anything, but I do have a book I finished writing and published. I have the link to it in the description. Black Monday. Interesting enough, on the 21st, the paperback will be released. So, if you rather read a physical copy, just recommending it. Anyways, I will talk to you guys, hopefully, in terms of this channel, hopefully Sunday. In terms of the gaming channel. I'm gonna try to stream the night of this recording, which is Wednesday. And I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye bye.